What is your name?
My name is Jairo de la Guardia.
How old are you?
I am 52 years old.
How many years do you have in outdoor experience?
Well, I have been in the outdoors since I was 6 years old, and I'm already 52 almost. So that's almost 46 years in the outdoors.
How long have you been spearfishing?
I have been spearfishing for over 30 years now.
What or who brought you into outdoor living?
Okay, that's a good question. So when I was 6 years old, my parents sent me to the interior of the country to live with my grandmother. And I have an uncle who used to raise cows, and he will take me every weekend to work with his cows, milking the cows, helping in every way with his cows.
Do you prefer being at the farm or at the ocean?
That's a very, very difficult question. So if I could split myself in two, I will have one in the ocean and one part in my farm. Yes.
But you need to pick one.
Uh-huh.
You need to pick one.
No.
How long you've got the farm?
For about 10 years now.
What has been the scariest experience at the ocean?
The scariest experience at the ocean? So back in 2007, I was diving behind Taboguilla looking for corvinas. That was about 5:30 in the afternoon. And that day they were just very, very timid. So I had to go down to 90 feet, stay a long time, holding my breath until one corvina came by. So I shot the corvina right in the head. I killed the fish. When I was coming back to the surface, somehow the shaft came off the corvina. So I went straight down, back to the bottom, grabbed the corvina, and went back to the surface. When I made it to the surface, I knew I hurt myself, and I was coughing and spitting blood. And I almost died that time. Since I was that age, I like the challenge. You know, whenever I see a challenge, I like to go for it. That's the story of my life. I married her mom. She was a big challenge to me. You know the story.
Yeah.
You know, she was a Jewish, I wasn't a Jewish, and we had a big, big fight with her family.
Yeah.
You know part of the story,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the story of my life, challenges. And whenever you have a situation that doesn't kill you, it will make you stronger. That's a fact. So I was diving behind Taboguilla this time, and I could hear the corvinas, but I couldn't see them. And I didn't want it to go home without a corvina. That was not going to happen. I had to shoot a corvina. So I did. So I went down to 90 feet. I hold my breath for a long, long time. I shot the corvina, and when I was coming back to the surface, ¿está filmando? Okay. The shaft came off the fish, came off the corvina. And the corvina started sinking, dead, completely dead, straight to the bottom. And in that moment, I had to think real fast. If I go to the surface to get some air, I will never find that corvina. It was dark, dirty, a lot of current. So I said, I'm going to go back and get it. So I went down straight to the bottom after being halfway back to the surface, right?
Yeah.
So when I grabbed the corvina, I knew that I have hurt myself. Something inside was bad, that was not good.
Yeah.
So when I made it to the surface, I went to the boat, I threw the corvina in the boat, and I told my friend, we have to go back to the city. I just hurt myself. I have to go to the hospital. So I went to my house. I didn't say anything to my wife. I kept it quiet. I went to the bathroom to take a shower, and I took a shower. I had to lay down on the floor. Something was strange inside my body. Like my breathing wasn't right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we had to go to a Shabbat dinner that night. I went to the dinner. I came back to the house, and I went straight to bed without saying nothing to nobody. The day after, I woke up. I went to brush my teeth, and when I spit a big chunk of dark blood. So I said, this is not good. This is not good. So I called my doctor and I told him what happened, and he told me, Jairo, you want to go straight to the hospital. I need to see an x-ray of your lungs. So I did that. When I went to the doctor, he was looking at the x-ray and looking at me, looking at the x-ray and looking at me. And then he told me, Jairo, this time you went too far. From here, you have to go straight to the hospital to intensive care. And I said, no, doctor, I'm going back to my house. I was a big time stubborn. So I went back to my house, and then the doctor called my wife, and my wife called my mom, and they both were like, Jairo, we have to go to the hospital, we have to go to the hospital. So they took me to the hospital, and when they finally took me to the hospital, they did some tests, and 90% of my lungs were filled with blood. I was this close to die.
Oh my God.
And then my sister, my oldest sister, who is a doctor, I have never ever seen her crying. Never. Not even when my dad died. And the doctor called her apart. They went inside a little room, and when she came out, she was crying. And when I saw her crying, I went, oh my God, this has to be serious. If she is crying, this is serious. So then the doctor and my sister explained to me and my family that maybe 60 to 80% of the people with this type of accident will die. So I was in that percentage, but I made it through. And then when I made it through, I came back to the doctor, and he told me, Jairo, you will never die again. So I looked him in the eye and I told him back, doctor, that ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna die. I will die. I'm gonna put limits to me. Okay, you know I like the challenge, but I'm gonna put limits to me, but I will keep diving. And if I die diving, that will be a happy death to me.
Oh my
So that's the scary story about spearfishing. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next adventure.